Let's take a look at the cerebellar vermis on the sagittal midline with some magnification. Just to get us oriented, here's our fourth ventricle with the fastigium of the fourth, whose shape and pointedness and size we pay close attention to. Here's the inferior recess of the fourth, the floor of the fourth, where you'll find the facial colliculus bump, the inferior colliculus, the superior colliculus, the posterior commissure, the habenula, and the pineal gland. Behind the cerebellum is the straight sinus, and above it the vein of Galen. The tentorium cerebelli and the falcotentorial region coalesce in this position. Inferior to the cerebellum is the foramen magnum. If we draw a line from the tip of the basion to the tip of the opistheon, we like to see the cerebellar vermis above that line. But it can lie 3 or 4 millimeters below that line, as long as, I'll draw it again so you can see it a little better, maybe with another color, as long as the cerebellum is not compressed, is not squished from anterior to posterior. And as long as the cerebellar tonsils are nice and round rather than being peg-shaped. If they're peg-shaped, then we have to worry a bit about Chiari malformation or one of its lesser variants. Now let's turn our attention in the midline to the cerebellar vermis. We've got a small structure initially, anterosuperiorly, the lingula. Then the next structure is going to be the centrum. I'll use yellow for that. Then the largest, the granddaddy of them all, I use blue, is the culmen. It's the biggest lobe of the cerebellar vermis. Then we get into 3 lobes. They're kind of hard to separate them out here. We've got the declive, the folium, and the tuber corresponding to this lobe. And so declive, folium, and tuber, we'll say declive, folium, tuber. Then underneath that, and slightly anterior to it, we have the pyramis, or the pyramidal lobe of the cerebellum. And then we get into the last 2 lobes, which we'll use light blue for, the uvula, and then the one all the way anteriorly, we'll make a different color just so you can pick it out in purple, the nodulus. And here is the tonsil of the cerebellum sitting right above the line drawn from the tip of the basion to the tip of the opistheon. That's the normal anatomy of the cerebellar vermis in the sagittal midline. Pomerantz out.